This one was different because this was our babies. And all they were trying to do is go get an education. When we say Black Lives Matter, we have to mean all Black lives in all aspects, in all areas. That means that when we say Black lives, it's not just against police brutality. It's against all brutality. That means that when they want to go get an education, they can go and feel safe. It's not just kids should feel safe in schools. Kids should feel safe, period. There is no qualifiers. There is no asterisk behind it with something extra. Kids should be safe. And so with that, I would like to do a moment of silence for the victims of yesterday's shooting. As we march tonight, I want y'all to actually think about how we can change our communities. Because the system doesn't give a shit. They're not going to care today. They haven't cared in the past. They're not going to care tomorrow. So how are we changing the narrative? How are we changing our communities? If you out here saying Black Lives Matter, you wearing the shirts and whatever, you using the hashtag, make sure our lives actually fucking matter. Make sure that we can go to school and feel safe. Make sure that we can go in every area and feel safe. Until then, our lives don't matter. So, as we march tonight, while we're screaming Breonna Taylor, also think about how we're changing our communities for the better. And that this is not performative, and that this is real.
Okay, sorry. We're going to leave out to march in the next 15 minutes. I was just told there's a lot of people still on the way, so be ready in the next 15 minutes for me to call everybody to hit Liberty, and then we'll be marching on from there. That's all. I love you guys.
We love you.
What's up, everyone? Jared Riot of Riot Heart Media here live at Injustice Square at 6th and Jefferson in Louisville, Kentucky. Today marks 365 days since the grand jury dropped their decision to basically not press charges on almost any of the officers involved in the shooting death of Breonna Taylor. And since it has been so long and we haven't really discussed it on live much, we'll just do a quick rundown. Breonna Taylor was killed in her apartment by LMPD officers in a botched no-knock warrant raid. What a no-knock warrant raid is it gives law enforcement the ability to essentially kick in a door and get the jump on any would-be criminals before they would have time to react, right? So it sounds like it's good in theory. You kick in the door, you catch them off guard, and you get to them before they're able to get to any type of weapons or, stashing drugs or whatever the fuck. So the reason that this no-knock warrant was considered to be botched was because they actually A, knocked on the door, and B, made their presence known before going in. So that gave Breonna Taylor's boyfriend the opportunity to grab a pistol because he didn't know who it was. He just knew that someone was knocking, beating on the door. They hadn't announced that they were law enforcement, just that there was people outside. So he grabbed a pistol. Whenever they kicked in the door, he just charged one round, caught one officer in the leg, I believe. They opened up with automatic weapons, ended up sending rounds through the walls into other apartments, and ended up killing Breonna Taylor. It's very lucky that there was no one else in the apartments that ended up being hit and killed, but it was an unnecessary loss of life. It is their fault for botching the no-knock warrant. It is their fault that she is dead. And when the grand jury made their decision, there was only one officer that was given charges, and it was wanton endangerment, and it was because of those rounds that were discharged into the side apartment instead of Breonna Taylor's apartment. That was Brett Hankinson. All it was, again, was wanton endangerment. Most of these officers kept their job. One, Officer James, he actually fabricated information to get the warrant, so the warrant shouldn't have been valid to begin with, and then was botched whenever they tried to execute it. So again, he fabricated information, fake information, to get that warrant signed by a judge so that they could go to Breonna Taylor's house. There's just so many different depths and levels to the corruption in this story that it would be hard to give you a full recap if you hadn't been following from the beginning. But it's just astounding that all those officers were let go without any charges. The one that falsified information is currently suing LMPD to get his job back, because there are so many different safeguards in place between the FOP, LMPD, local metro government, to make sure that law enforcement officers can't be charged or lose their jobs. It's astounding. So they can commit criminal charges. They can commit crimes and completely get away with it because of these caveats. But again, we're down here, 6th and Jeff, in Justice Square, 365 days after the grand jury decision. I'm going to give you all a quick spin because the mural and everything is out today, so it's actually beautiful.
Yeah, we pulled out the last piece to try and
So you can see here, there's just a ton of signs, banners, and things that have been made by protesters over the last year and a half. At one point, this mural or this memorial was cleansed by a good Christian woman because she witnessed someone putting a salt circle of protection around the memorial, and she assumed that was witchcraft. So she threw away a bunch of the signs. They were kind of destroyed a little bit from rain damage anyway. Cleaned it up. So all the signs had to be remade, and it was done the very next day. There was a ton of people that came down here to the square with poster boards, markers, everything, remade a bunch of signs. On occasion, we still actually host, on occasion, there's a local group that still hosts sign-making events where you get to come out, do art, make, protest and civil rights-driven art such as this. So let's go ahead and give y'all a spin so you can see some more of it.
yeah, so.
If you're texting and phone banking, we're about to start. We got the script ready and everything.
Oh yeah, for Tunisia? Yeah. Yeah, let me give you my email.
Okay.
I am. Yeah. Man, I thought I was ready for that. Yeah, hit me up.
We are going to be marching here shortly, but I wanted to go live a little bit early and give you all a look-see of the square. We got Travis Najdee's crown Travis Najdi lost his life November last year to senseless gun violence. LMPD pinned it on a carjacking gone awry. LMPD does have a habit of lumping in a lot of different types of crimes into one of two, either A, carjackings or drive-by shootings. So a lot of different crimes that aren't necessarily those two things just get lumped into them so that they can close cases essentially. But Travis lost his life, and it was a big hit to everyone in the protest community. He was very young, very vibrant, very energetic. He had a great spirit, he had a great mind, and he was set to do some big things. And again, was shot down dead too early. Tyler Gerst lost his life here last summer, just over there. Also senseless violence. There was an individual that was staying here in the square while we were maintaining 24-hour occupation. 24-hour occupation means that people are here occupying 24 hours a day. So there was tents that were set up for people to stay in. There were some houseless residents that had kind of moved in and were staying in the tents with us. You know, hey. How you doing, bud? You doing all right, bro? Yeah, man, good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah. So we, basically created a small safe haven for some of the houseless individuals here in the square while we maintained a 24-hour occupation. Unfortunately, one of those houseless individuals had some mental health issues and had created some problems in the square, had been told to leave several times. The last time he finally left, he came back. When he left, he was wearing nothing but shorts and no shoes, nothing, no shirt, just shorts. He came back fully clothed with a backpack, a mask, and a pistol. Opened fire, and Tyler Gerth was the only one that was shot. He was the only one that was hit, and unfortunately lost his life on this day. He was here to support, to take photos of the movement, to document just as I have. Beautiful ally also lost his life way too early. Now there used to be a memorial to David McAtee, but when all the memorials got taken down, I'm not sure where the painting of him landed. But David McAtee also lost his life last summer at the hands of LMPD and National Guardsmen. He was known as the Barbecue Man. He had a spot called Yheir's Barbecue, 26 on Broadway. He often hosted a Sunday gathering, food, drinks. The local community, local neighborhood would come out and enjoy, have a good time. He also frequently gave law enforcement officers free meals from his barbecue joint. And unfortunately, on one Sunday during the protests at this normal every Sunday gathering, LMPD took it upon themselves to label it a protest, label it a riot, show up in SRT, in riot gear with National Guards. LMPD opened fire on David McAtee's niece, I believe it was, with pepper balls. She went to take refuge in the back of the restaurant. David McAtee was unaware of who was outside shooting at his niece and may have discharged a couple rounds in the air. National Guard then opened fire and ended his life. But the first person to pull a trigger and create that incident was the incompetent LMPD officers. There shouldn't have been anyone down there to begin with. It was not a protest. Again, it was just a normal every Sunday neighborhood gathering. Too many black people in one spot, so LMPD decided it was a riot. Share the live, guys. We are going to be marching here momentarily. Again, it's been 365 days since the grand jury decision. We should be taking off on a march here momentarily, but I'm going to go ahead and drop the live for now. We will be back here in just a few minutes once we do start to march. So everyone stay tuned. Keep watching. Make sure that you are subscribed to either YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook, and set up to get notifications when I go live. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here for now. As soon as that march starts, I will be back. So until then, everybody, stay strong, stay safe.